All right. I think we're live. Hello, hello. Is anyone out there in the ethos watching this Straw Hat Speculator live stream? Let's see. Do a little refresh on my YouTube. Just make sure everything's working well. Looks like we're live. That's good. Yeah, for sure. Bud Nader, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. Just going to give it a minute, let some people funnel in, if anyone's going to funnel in. What's up? Needs to chill a bit. What's up, Danny? We'll give it another minute or two. Then we'll have FOMO. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Grab the popcorn. I got to remember to get in the habit of bringing these up. CKS, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Quick Entertainment, how's it going? Fellow Canadian, where are you from, man? Which province are we dealing with here? Crescent, what's good? Happy Sunday to you guys as well. It's been a very chill day for me so far. Have you guys got up to anything? What's up? Not too much. Hey, big fan here. Watch all your videos. Thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out how to say your name. Thanley. Maybe the second H is silent. Thanley. Hello from Los Angeles. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Toronto. Okay. Sweet, man. I'm on the other coast. British Columbia. But Toronto's cool. UK fan checking in. Awesome. All right, guys. So I think what we're going to do today, by the way, I've changed a couple things. First, my camera, I've moved it up a little bit. So hopefully it won't be blocking my face when I bring up comments like this all the time. I'm sure it'll still happen a little bit, but I think the angle's a bit better. And then also, I'm not wired yet, but wired connection is for sure coming. And I got to remember not to do this. No one really pointed this out, but when I was listening back, if I ever touch the mic stand, it makes noise. So I'm going to try and avoid doing that. But yeah, we're going to get into a little conversation today about EBO2 because it's starting to move. And then maybe just a brief chat about 2026, my strategy, and then we'll open up to Q&A if anyone has questions. And then also, I put something out in the Discord if anyone's in there. And if you aren't in there and you want to join, link should be in the video description. If you have a collector or shiny portfolio and you want me to review it, I think that would make really good content. So you could leave a link in the Discord and I'll bring it up on stream and we can just talk about whatever sealed products you have. I think that'd be fun. Hello from Australia. Clint was good. And then Germany. Paul, how's it going, man? Okay, so I think I'm already sharing this. If we go this way, perfect. I did want to touch on EBO2 just to start because it seems like overnight we've had another little move upwards. If you do the 1 month chart, you can see here we're up to around $350 now on EBO2. And recent sales are actually pushing almost $400 from today and yesterday. And this really isn't super surprising to me. I think when we consider a lot of these gold leader cards moving up in price, it was really only a matter of time before the set started to move again. And it's going to be interesting to see where the dust settles eventually. But if this Luffy leader is close to $1,000, if some of these other cards are five, six, $700 as well, this could potentially become a high A tier or S tier investment potentially even. So I think that is a very interesting thing that I did just want to bring up first. I'm going to try my best to keep up with chat as well. Hello from France. What's going on? Which part of France are you from? Philippines. Awesome. Hello from Snoopy Land. Let's see. Will you make a video of predictions you got wrong? I think mid this summer you said EBO1 was a D tier buy. Yeah, I mean, I did that for my main channel. I talked about some of my excuse me, the Pokey Profit channel. I still call it the main channel, but they're getting close now. Some of the bad decisions I made in investing this year. I still kind of stand by that though. Like, sure, EBO1 has done very well, but I think it was something almost no one could have expected. And I also don't think in the future that it's a great buy right now. So yeah, I definitely got that one wrong. Same with like the first and second anniversary sets. I definitely undervalued those, but you get things wrong all the time. It is what it is. I might do it for One Piece, but I don't know if it would be the most interesting video because I kind of talked about One Piece already when I did the main channel video. Glad I have 6 boxes unopened of EBO2. Yeah, I mean, having EBO2 right now is definitely the place to be. Should I sell my display master set? By the way, guys, I'll get into questions here in a minute. I did just want to say, too, from the first live stream to this one, if you do have a question, if you guys put question in all caps at the front, it's going to be a lot easier for me to find it in the chat. And that'll help me differentiate between you guys just having conversations versus someone actually wanting their question brought up in stream. So this is EBO2. I don't really think there's too much to say about it other than it's moving up in price right now. We will keep an eye on this, obviously, going forward. And if I make a full-fledged video tonight, I'll probably talk a little bit more about EBO2. The other thing that I just wanted to briefly touch on before we get into a Q&A, and this is going to be a much shorter live stream. I don't think I'll go for more than an hour, but who knows? I said that last time. Um, I just wanted to touch on 2026 strategy and kind of what my plans are right now. A lot of it is going to revolve around OP13. If a reprint comes, I think the vast majority of my funds are going to be going towards OP13 next year. Now, EBO3, I think is interesting as well. I do still want to get a little bit of exposure to EBO3, but we still haven't seen any pre-orders here in Canada, really. Like maybe the odd stores throwing some up, but if I can get a decent price on EBO3, I'll grab a little bit of that. OP14, OP15, those look interesting. I mean, I wonder if I can bring up OP14 here. Let's see, add a stage. No. Bear with me, guys. I got to stop screen. Then I got to come back in here, share screen again. And then if I bring this up, perfect. This should be working. So OP14 is interesting. I think this is going to be kind of like a mid-tier set. And the more I look at it, the more I guess I'm impressed by it. I honestly didn't think it was going to be that great. I was thinking maybe 2 Legends Royal Blood status, but I think at this point it's clearly better than both of those. The Boa Hancock cards are going to be very interesting to see where these ultimately end up, considering the '09 Boa is going for what, $1,000 in a 10 at this point. The '04 Boa is going for more than $1,000. I wouldn't be surprised if this card is eventually $400 or $500 raw. I think that's very realistic considering the market we're in. You're also going to have what, an alternate card in here, the leader card, the manga event rare. The buggies, those will be decently expensive. Same thing with the Mihawk manga card. I think in Japanese in a 10, that's going for $1,000, maybe a little bit less or more. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be somewhere middle of the road. I'm curious to know what you guys think. But if it's a choice between me buying OP14 and me buying more OP13, I think that I am just going to be buying OP13. So, yeah. Bro, your hairline is fucked. Yeah, dude. I'm cooked, man. But I don't know. I just think it's weird too how many people bring that up. Like you come into a stream and kind of just insult someone. It's like it is what it is, man. I can't really control it. I mean, I guess I could go to Turkey, but no. It's unlucky. Let's see. Question. Ace wanted sell now or keep for the future? I mean, it's up to you, right? Like I think a lot of that depends on how large of a portfolio you're building. That card's gone up a lot since release. You could probably do a lot with that money, at least going into next year. So if you're only building like $1,000, $2,000 position, do you really want most of that to be in an error wanted poster? For me, I'd probably say no, but to each their own, right? I think it depends on how large of a position you're going with. The Prona SP and EBO3 is looking like the true chase card. Yeah, I've seen that one. I mean, based on the art, I think it's going to be fairly expensive, like a lot of those other SPs. Kind of ridiculous how goony some of those cards look, to be honest. Let's see. Followed your videos and information for the last 4 months. Led me to so many great buys and opportunities. Thanks for that. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you watching all the videos. It means a lot. OP13 the GOAT. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's very hard to justify buying a lot of these other sets coming out. Like, I mean, OP14, sure, I think it's gonna be great, but I just compared to OP13, it's very difficult to justify, especially if you're getting these sets around the same price, right? Let's see. See, hello, hello. If I can bring this up. Len, what's going on? When my hairline goes, I'm going to Turkey. Yeah, I mean, do you, brother? Let's see. Question. I've heard either OP14 or 15 in the West will be split and include EBO4. Is that confirmed? I believe so. I don't think we're getting EBO4, so part of it's going to be in 14 and then part of it's going to be in 15. At least that's my understanding. Got myself 4 OP13 cases, holding on to these for at least a year. Yeah, I mean, I'd be holding much longer unless you really need the money, but I think OP13 is really going to go down as one of the best sets ever. It's going to be very difficult unless Bandai decides to just give us like 20 mangas in a set, which I think would be very dumb of them and probably dilute the manga's value. But I mean, they could go serialized cards. Who knows? There are ways for them to continue pushing things up in terms of beating every anniversary set. But yeah, OP13 looks very very promising long term. Question: if OP16 is global release and 17 is anniversary set, which would you buy if you could get one case? Speculation, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I think just going into it blindly and knowing absolutely nothing about either of the sets, I would just go with 17 because the anniversary sets have tended to be very strong. But I don't know, you're kind of just slipping a coin, right? Like that could change at any point. We don't really know. I mean, we have a general idea of what the theme is going to be for 16. I believe it's Paramount War, right? But just not knowing any of the cards inside of it, you're going in blind. Do you think market will crash eventually? I think that the market will correct eventually, like all healthy markets. I think a lot of things too are starting to slow down as well, which is fine. Let's see if we can go back into TCG player. I can illustrate this better. So OP13, maybe not the best example, but something like OP05, it started to flatline around 500 or excuse me, around $760, 750. Sure, recent sales 780, but it's in that range, right? We're not seeing this jump up to $1,000 yet. Same thing with the white bottoms and blue bottoms. These have started to go sideways as well, and I think that this is to be expected, and it's healthy. It's definitely not great. I mean, it's great if you own things to see them continuing to go up, but this is normal. People taking profits, and things can't go up forever. At least not consistently, right? So no, I think that a correction could happen. If it does, it's going to be a decent buying opportunity, and it's really as far as you should take it right now. Where can I link my collector account in the Discord? Jason, if you're in there, you could just send me a message for one or put it in the One Piece chat. And then from there, I'll open it on my PC. And then we can take a look and just talk about what you have. Putting it in the One Piece chat's probably the easiest way to go about it. And then I'll just delete them after I open them. What's your thoughts on blisters? I don't invest in blisters anymore, really. I have a few from a long time ago in Pokemon. I don't like the idea that they can be weighed in One Piece. I don't think that's great. And then also, the bigger issue with blisters is generally they tend to get outperformed by sealed booster boxes. And then also, it's a time thing, right? So if you want to sell the same dollar amount, you're going to have to move 24 blisters compared to one booster box. And if you value your time in this hobby, if you've never actually sold before, I recommend trying to sell some blisters. Try and sell some ancillary products like collection boxes, illustration boxes, and you'll realize eventually that it's probably not worth your time unless you have very flushed out sales channels and you have good connections. But for most people, it's probably not going to be worth it. That's just my guess. But then again, I don't really know anything. So, all right, let's see. Question: any reason why OPO1 blue bottom boxes are 2K cheaper in Europe on buy it now listings? Never seen that before with TCG Player. OP13 are $100 cheaper. I can't really answer this, right? Because I don't know everything about the European market, but it makes sense to me why things are cheaper in Europe because generally things have always been cheaper in Europe. Now, are you talking about card market? Are you talking about eBay? Are you talking about Facebook groups? And yeah, it's really tough to tell because sometimes if there's a 20-30% difference, maybe that makes sense. But if it's getting to a point where it's 40-50% difference in price, maybe that's a decent buying opportunity. I just saw a Meat Cannon video about this channel. Hey, that's funny, dude. I saw that Pokemon scalping one too. That was funny. Yeah, if I had $1 for every time someone called me a scalper, I think I'd be retired already. EBO took a big jump today to 400. Yeah, we just covered that, Sean, right at the start of the live stream. It's crazy. Like it's mind blowing how much this box is moving. But Um, and I say mind blowing in the sense that like when I bought these 6 months ago, I never expected them to be $400 now. But I guess with the context of what's happened over the past couple weeks, it makes a lot more sense. OP13 is not the goat. OPO1 and OPO5 toss up. Ooh, that might be a hot take. Maybe not though. Maybe not a hot take. Jason, I think you sent me a message, right? Let's see. Or someone sent me a message. Let's see if I can open this here. Yeah, okay, this is yours. Let me get this set up. So I got to remove this again. Stop screen. And then if I share my screen. All right, so we're taking a look at Jason's collector portfolio. So absolute baller, it seems like 383K, 12 cards and 159 sealed product. Jason, I recognize your name, by the way. Do you sell in, unless there's another Jason Alexander, do you sell in like the One Piece groups in Canada, like the national one? I feel like I see you in there all the time. I should also try and get caught up on chat too. Let's see though. PRBO1, 3 cases of PRBO1, 12 cases of OP13, a case of EBO2, 8 cases of OP11, Marvel, okay. Spider-Man collector boxes, interesting. OP14 pre-orders. Okay, I feel like you're the guy, dude, because I see someone in the Canadian national group selling a bunch of PRBO2 booster boxes. And these are cases too, 114. That is insane. That's basically it. A little bit of Gundam, yeah. I bought a box of New Type Rising just because I figured why not? It would be decent. That's yeah, pretty stacked portfolio here, man. And I think you know that. Good amount of PRBO1. I'm jealous. A lot of OP13. That's good. Same thing with 11. Do you have any O9 though? No OP09 at all? And only one case of EBO2. I feel like it'd be nice to have a little bit more of that. But yeah, outside of missing O9 and EBO2, you really did pick the winners for the most part. Let's see. Yes, the other half of EBO4 will be an OP15. Okay, thank you. Tef, question: don't you think PRBO1 Gold Dons are undervalued since there are 30 of them compared to EBO2 27 liters? Yeah, I talked about Gold Dons too about a week ago, I think. It doesn't really make sense to me why a lot of them haven't moved yet, considering SPs have more than doubled, mangas have doubled, and a lot of the Gold Dons are actually down in price over the past 3 to 6 months. My guess would be some of the top ones will start moving. It really wouldn't surprise me. And they're very difficult to find too. Like they're not incredibly high pop cards. But I think the EBO2 leaders as well, the gold leaders, they're very rare. And I think just in terms of general collectability, most people would rather have those EBO2 leaders than the gold dons. That's just my guess. Like I don't really have anything to back that up, but some of the Don cards just aren't the most interesting to look at, I don't think. By the way, do you own for Asia only OP13 cases? No, the cases I have are, if you're asking me, I'm not sure if this was for someone else, but the cases I have are North American releases. Luckily, I'm grateful I got those. Question: OP1 pre-release winner, STO1 pre-release Luffy leader, or OP1 pre-rata Luffy leader? Which one would you invest the most? I mean, me personally, I'm not the best person to ask because when it comes to buying cards, I'd probably just say buy sealed product instead. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna give you the answer you're looking for. Um, yeah, sorry. I don't know. I'd say buy sealed products. I'm not an expert. I don't think I could buy the individual cards and feel super confident in it. Question: since OP14 and 15 is splitting with EBO4, not sure if it'll get one print or reprint considering it's a partial special set. Yeah, I mean that's actually a really interesting take on it too, Jason. I think that there's a possibility that happens, and a lot of people in general have said because they're trying to catch up with the simultaneous releases later this year that maybe a lot of the older sets like '09, which I say older but still fairly new, a lot of these older but newer sets aren't going to get another reprint just because they got so much else going on. We'll see. You know, I try not to speculate into that sort of stuff. I'll buy what I want, and then if it gets a reprint, I'll buy more. Question: will they reprint Awakening of the New Era? If I knew for sure, I would obviously be exercising my knowledge and, acting accordingly. I think it's very unlikely that they reprint OPO5, but I do have money put to the side in case that does happen. In the very rare event it happens, I think it's probably, let's say, less than 5% chance that they end up doing that. Question: do you think OPO9 is a good buy right now? Um, it depends on the portfolio that you're building and your long-term outlook on One Piece investing. So if you're only looking to spend $1,000 on One Piece investing, probably not worth buying it and probably not a great buy just because it's going to be a very large percentage of your portfolio. Now, if you're building a 20, $30,000 position, $100,000 position, like a lot of the people I work with, then it's probably going to be worth buying at least a little bit of OPO9, whether that's a case, a box, depending on your level. It's something that long term I'm planning to hold on to. I'm not looking to move any of my own nine, and hopefully that's a good enough answer. Question: what are your okay? We covered blisters already. Let's see. Question: is there typically a market difference between a booster box that is English set for Asia versus the English ones from the US? Yeah, so currently there is. And this is something else that I didn't get into at the start of the video talking about my 2026 strategy. And I might get more in depth into it tonight if I make a video, but I'm contemplating making a very large play into 4 Asia boxes. It doesn't make sense to me, the difference in price. I could understand if there's a 5% difference just because some people don't like the stamp on the box, but when there is a 20, 30, 40% difference in price sometimes, I think that that is just too wide. So I think there is potentially opportunity there. And I haven't decided yet, but with every day that passes, I get more tempted to go in and make that play. Have you ever looked into Fabled? No, I haven't looked into Disney Lorcana. It's basically PRBO 1 of Lorcana, and the first set where they put a manga event rare equivalent rarity, and the Mickey is as high as $2,000. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't really want to invest in Lorcana. I'm not like the largest Disney fan. I'm not super bullish on it as a game. But yeah, if it's a stack set, I'm sure some people probably did well on it, right? At pre-order. I know that like when someone says Fable, that's definitely one of the sets that comes up a lot when people are talking about Lorcana. Can you raise your volume? I can barely hear you. Is everyone else having that issue? I mean, I can turn the gain up. I don't really want to go higher than this on the gain, just because it's probably gonna start spiking really bad. But yeah, hopefully this is good. Let's see. If anyone else has issues with the volume, let me know. I think that should be good for now. I got to get used to talking like really close to the mic as well. Sometimes I'm way back here and it gets worse. Let's see. What do you think about gold leaders like Sabo? Got mine for $70. I don't really I don't really have any strong opinions on gold leaders in general. I mean, some of those cards will do well, some of them probably won't do as well. Yeah. In general, like I'm always just gonna side with sealed products instead of cards. Now, can you make really good money investing into individual cards and slabs? 100%. Question. Okay, we took that one. Question, do you think the Luffy OPO5 Otis signature will rise further in price since the OPO5 box is so high? So this is actually like a common thing I see from a lot of people who get into investing, and it's kind of a misconception. So the the booster box is directly tied, at least to some degree, to the value of the cards inside of it. So we're seeing that right now with EBO2, where a lot of the gold leaders are going up in price, and we're seeing the booster box go up in price. That's because you're getting more value out of that top 10 cards. But just because that's the case doesn't mean the opposite's the case. So if the booster box is going up in price, it doesn't necessarily mean that the top cards are going to go up in value. Hopefully that makes sense. And do I think it's going to rise in the future? It could rise in the future, but it won't be tied to what happens to the booster box, if that makes sense. What do you think about OP11 display investment right now? I'm imagining that's booster boxes. Still seems underrated. No. Uh, I wouldn't say underrated, but I think OP11 is probably one of the better values right now that you can find. OP11 and 12, at least here in North America, is what makes sense to me. I actually just saw today that Hobbiesville sold out of OP11, and they were one of the last stores at 300 Canadian. So I think that's going to continue to bump up. So yeah, like compared to a lot of other sets, when you look at the top 10 value, it should probably be maybe a little bit higher, I'd say. And for some people where OPO5, OPO9, maybe those are getting out of reach for them, it's one of those opportunities to get a decent set at maybe a more obtainable price for a lot of people. Hi, why are TCG and card market prices so different? Maybe EU versus NA. That's exactly it. It's just different markets. I'm sorry, man, holding them for over years. What was that? Was this in relation to another question? Because I forgot the question it was in relation to. Sorry, Teddy. Greetings from Spain. I always watch your videos in the morning. Gracias for watching the videos. That's amazing. What part of Spain are you from? I disagree. Some of these are flatline like OPO5. I'd say it's putting in a floor base. The more buy support around 750 for OPO5, the more exciting that looks long term. Yeah, I think you could take that approach as well. I think it's definitely a new floor for sure. I think long gone are the days that we see OPO5 unless we get a reprint that it's like 350, 400 a box. I just don't think that's going to happen anymore. Blisters are hella easy to ship and sell in lots. Yeah, I mean, if you can sell them in lots, go for it. I also think that generally, if you're selling in lots, you're not getting max dollar for everything you sell, right? So, where you can get premiums for booster boxes, you're normally not going to get that with sleep boosters. But, if you can do that, awesome. OPO 5, 9, 13, and silver. Stack them. Yep. Okay. I'm on board with all of that. Sounds good. Question, my LGS buys at 70 to 80% market value. How do they make money back when they're going to buy a 25th anniversary collector set for $300 to $400? I actually haven't looked at what those are going for now, the 25th anniversary. So um, I don't really know what current market value is, but I mean, if they're buying at 70 to 80% of market, they're building in a margin there for sure, and that's how they make their money. But I'm assuming that like, let me reread this. How do they make money back when they're gonna buy a 25 anniversary collector set for $300 to $400? Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Like, is this? I don't obviously know what those are going for right now, which is maybe bad, but if they're buying at 70% of market, that's their margin. That's built in. Now, if you're referring when they buy things from distro, there are times where stores are buying things from distro and they're actually losing money on it, right? And that's kind of just like the cost of building your your acquisition from distro. But generally, if they're buying from the market at 70 to 80%, there's their margin. Are you going to upload the live streams? Yeah. Yeah, they should be live after. Do you think OPO9? I think we went over that already. What's the biggest mistake you made in the TCG? Now, do you mean just one piece or TCG investing in general? I guess I could answer it both ways. So, in One Piece, I'd say the biggest mistake was probably the first and second anniversary sets. I didn't buy those. I wasn't very, very hyped on them at all. Also, I guess I could have went larger into blue bottoms earlier this year. Like it made sense to me, and I just at the time I didn't really want to spend that money to buy one, but probably could have went heavier into blue bottoms very early on. Now, the biggest mistake I'd say in TCG investing in general has probably been thinking I knew a lot more than I did and allowing myself to buy products that were very bad products. So, for example, buying collection boxes, buying tins, buying a lot of sleeve boosters. And then these were all products that I realized were not an optimal use of money. They're more of a pain to store, and you have to spend a ton of time actually offloading compared to booster boxes. So that's why now the majority of my holdings, I just stick to the really top tier products, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of people in this space, like, they're going to be able to do things differently because they might have different ways that they can sell product. And also, you're going to have a lot of people that just have to learn by mistake. They'll make a bad buy, and then once they go through that experience, it'll be something they don't end up doing again. Follow-up question, it's never been cheaper in Europe. I've never seen the 2K difference on the 5K product before, especially Pokemon. Usually USA are comps on Card Market and other platforms. So I've seen on Card Market there's been a difference in booster box price for sure in One Piece. The 2K difference sounds very extreme to me. Like maybe that's just a really beat up box and it's one listing. I am curious though. I'm gonna go check after. I am curious. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Colin? Popping in to support. I'll listen later. Appreciate you, man. Means a lot. What's the max you'd pay for OP14 pre-order booster boxes? Um, in Canadian or in USD? Let's see. Canadian, I've seen some stores at like 240. So I don't know. It seems a little high, right? Because I can still find OP12 at I'd say 200 Canadian or like 190 maybe. So in USD, let me do a quick conversion here for you guys. 200 CAD to USD. So about 145 USD is what I can buy 12 for. I feel like I'd want to be around that that price for OP14. Maybe it's a little bit better of a set than OP12, but OP12 has half a year on it. So yeah, I think around that price I'd be happy with. Yep, I do. That's the group I run. Okay. Yeah, I posted in there sometimes. I know who you are. Uh, don't know if you've seen PSA opened up a Canadian grading location. No need to deal with customs anymore. Yeah, I saw that. It's in Toronto. I think it's in Toronto, right? Somewhere back in Ontario. That's good for sure. I like that. And then also I think they're opening a place in Frankfurt, Germany, later in the summer, so that'll be good as well. People won't have to send stuff across the pond if they're located in Europe. Hey, bro, I invest in OP13. Awesome. Good choice. Good choice, Chris. Let's see. No, I sold OP9, OP5 for dirt cheap a few months back. Yep. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's why, look, like, this is why I'm a huge believer in schmuck insurance now, where I won't sell my entire position just because you never know, right? And that's why I have one box of EBO1 behind me, because I thought about selling that as well in May, June. And I figured, hey, I would hold on to it, see what happens. You should look into Riftbound. I have thought about looking into Riftbound. I just need to do more research. Is there a reason why gold dons are something people would even want? Yeah, I think, people just collect what they like. And I don't think that the artworks are terrible. Some of them are pretty cool. I personally hate the backs. The white back, like, I understand why they do it, but man, I think they could just make them gold backs and it would be so cool. That'd be way more interesting. But people collect what they like. There's gonna be people who want those. Any advice for PSA submission from Europe? Want to grade One Piece cards? My advice would be wait, because I just like what I said. Frankfurt, I believe there's going to be a grading center there, and I think that's coming middle of next year. So if you can wait, I'd probably just do that. But I mean, if you want to risk it, send your stuff over to the States. I I've actually never graded a card personally. My cousin sent mine off for me, so I can't give you a ton of advice, but if you're not willing to send it to the States, I'd probably just hold off a few months. Question. Do you think, yeah, we talked about that one. Let's see. How many One Piece OP13 should I get a month? All of them, man. Every box you can find. Sell your kids, sell your wife, sell your home. No, I'm kidding. Obviously stay within your budget, but yeah, OP13 is an interesting one right now because it's expensive, and a lot of people are expecting a reprint to come sometime next year. So if you want a dollar cost average over the next few months, say next 6 months or whatever, that's fine. But I'm holding a lot of my cash in preparation for if a reprint comes. Question, what do you think about OP11? I feel like we got this one as well. Am I just losing my mind and going backwards in chat? A question, or should I use 2K to spend on singles because singles have been going up so much? I would not be touching singles right now. I think a lot of them are maybe not overpriced, but fairly priced at this point, and maybe some of them are overpriced. I mean, the Nami card with Zeus, obviously, like that wouldn't be something I'd personally touch, but yeah, I think the short-term value in a lot of these plays is gone. I think we're starting to see people try and find value anywhere they can, right? Like gold dons, gold leaders from EBO2. Maybe there's going to be something after that that people start to target, but that's really people pushing to kind of like the extremes at this point to find value. Question might be a hot take, but serialized English cards is a somewhat stable investment and good ROI that might be worth considering for long term. Jason, I don't see a question there, bro. Don't see the question. You baited me into pulling this up. But yeah, I don't even necessarily disagree with that. I think serialized cards in general are pretty interesting. What's up, Kirby? Started 2026. How much are you thinking about investing in Pokemon versus One Piece percentage wise? I think I'm probably gonna keep it where it is now, somewhere between like 2 to 1 Pokemon to 3 to 1 Pokemon. So yeah, in that range. It really depends on what happens though. Like if OP13 reprint comes and we still don't have any Destined Rivals, I'm just gonna dump a lot of my money into OP13. But if we get a Destined Rivals reprint, then maybe most of my money goes towards that. Try and stay fluid. Hopefully that helps. No, we can hear. All right. Some people were responding to the mic now. Volume is good. Yeah, I see you guys now. That's like from I'm so far behind in chat. It's always like this. Let's see. Do you even own any singles or slabs? I own one slab. I pulled the Trafalgar Law manga from Royal Blood, got it graded, came back at 10. That's the one slab I own, and then no to sealed. I mean, I have or to singles. I have some singles when I open booster boxes, but I generally tend to sell those off unless it's a card I want to keep. Question, hello, OPO5 looks really strong and it's not out of print yet. It also has a very iconic booster design. I would agree with that. I think that even at these prices, it's still a buy. What are your thoughts? I think if you're investing for the long term, there's an argument to be made for that. I think that's fine. It also depends on the size of position you're willing to build. So if you want to build a $20,000 position, it would probably make sense to get some OPO5. But if you're only putting $1,000 into one piece, I probably would not be buying OPO5. Hopefully that makes sense. Should I save my money to buy OP17? Where can I buy a case, or should I buy OP13 booster box once a month? For me, I would be buying 13 just because it's a known quantity now. We know how good of a set it is. You're taking a risk that OP17 is going to be better, and I don't know. I don't know if that's the play. I mean, I think it's still fine to buy some 17. I imagine it's going to be a fairly decent set if it is the anniversary set, but yeah, to be blindly buying that over OP13, I think is maybe a bit irrational. Question, do you think the sky is the limit for OPL1 blue white bottoms? Um, I mean, we got to be really specific, right? And define things. So, do I think the sky is the limit? What do you mean by the sky? Are we talking $10,000, $100,000? Hmm. Could I see blue bottoms being $10,000 for sure? Could I see them being $20,000? Maybe one day if the game succeeds. Do I see them being $100,000? That would be that would be crazy. I don't think that that is very likely, at least not in the short term. I mean, if the game's around in 20 years, if One Piece continues to grow as an IP, you could make an argument for that. But uh, short term, $10,000, like the next 5 years, I think that that is still reasonable, in my opinion. And then in terms of white bottoms too, like I think they'll continue climbing. We're seeing the Shanks manga move up. That's now 6,500 and a 10. I think that white bottoms could still run eventually. But I also think it's getting to a point where there might be better plays in terms of annualized ROI. Question, don't the Asian packs have fewer cards per pack and fewer hits? Are there a similar number cards per case? And would this be why such a price difference if the English for Asia versus Asian packs? I don't believe there's any difference between the for Asia English and the North American / European English. Does Japanese have less cards? I honestly don't know. I've never opened Japanese. You guys know that I don't recommend investing in Japanese at all, especially the booster boxes, just because they don't even have a plastic wrap on them. It's just the couple pieces of tape. So no, I don't pay attention to Japanese. I don't believe there's any difference between the for Asia and the North American English. And obviously, if there is, I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments down below. Just wanted to say thank you for bringing light to One Piece TCG. I got my first blue bottom in 2022. Still have two sealed. Raul, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's an amazing purchase back in 2022. So you probably got those for what, $100, $200? Very, very OG investor there. That's amazing. Yeah, Jason confirmed it. 4Asia has same cards as NA print, only Japanese set has less cards per pack. That makes sense. That makes sense. I was just being very cautious with my wording. I try and be nowadays. What do you think about OP14 for the West? Because there's also EB04 inside. We've talked about this. I think it's going to be somewhere middle of the road. Um, if I'm buying it for more than OP12, I don't know. I think I'd rather be closer to OP12 pricing. If I'm paying more for OP14, I'm not really thrilled about it, but we'll see. We'll see how well that set does. From Valencia. Okay, super. That's awesome, man. I really hope one day I get to get to Spain. Get to Spain. Yeah. I've been to Italy. I've been to Greece, and that's I mean the Vatican City, I guess, is a country as well, but that's the extent of my European travel so far. Spain, Portugal, other parts of Eastern Europe I think would be really interesting to visit as well. Luffy is the king of the pirates. I would agree with that. I definitely don't disagree. Do you plan to vend at card shows? No. No plan to vend card shows. Not something that interests me. I also live in the boonies, so there's really like no large card shows around me. I'd have to go to Vancouver, and traveling like that is exhaustive. So yeah, it's not up there in the priorities. Question: what are your short and long-term price targets for OP13? I mean, short term, the next this is so tough too because again, like I think a reprint's coming, right? So I I could see a world where OP13 at the end of 2026 is $250 a box, and I could see a world where it's 400 plus, depending on what happens in terms of reprints. Long term, I mean, OPO5's what, $800 a box, approximately 750. EBO1, we've seen sales at 1,000. White bottoms are $1,400. Long term, I could easily see OP13 being $1,000 box easily, and that's really a set where sky is the limit, in my opinion. Question: with the rotation of the game in April 2026, yep. Do you think investing in individuals AAs of those first four sets is a good investment? So I I think there might be potential there. Again, like I stay away from singles just because they aren't deflationary, but if you were going to buy alternate arts or SPs from older sets, that I'd feel more comfortable in those just because the the print runs are basically decided on those. So sure, the pop could go up in the future, but it's not like it's going to go up exponentially. So those could be potential plays, but it's not something that I would invest in. And again, just because I don't want to invest in it doesn't mean that it isn't going to be a potential W. Would you consider low 200s still a good buy for PRBO2? Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's a pretty, I mean, market's what, 220, 230 right now. For Asia, you can get for less than that. So I think that's decent. Yeah. I still think PRBO2 is incredibly underrated. Question: should I invest in OP when I'm starting with only $533.67 Canadian? Uh, that's a very specific amount of money. I always tell people TCG investing should not be your main investing vehicle. So if you're in Canada, I'm assuming you're over the age of 18, you should be maxing your TFSA every year. I mean, some people tell you to buy RRSPs and some other stuff. I think if you haven't maxed your TFSA, you shouldn't even consider buying TCGs. Now, if you have that and this is extra money, sure, at that point you could consider buying something, but until you do that, stay away from TCGs. John, what's up, man? I hope you continue to make a lot more content, and everyone is right. Your voice was made for radio podcast. Yep. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I am really hoping that I can do more live streams in the future. I'm hoping maybe once a week we could do things, and lots of stuff planned for 2026. I'll leave it at that for both channels too, not just the One Piece one, also the Poke Profit channel. It can be a very exciting year. Question: how do you ensure your collection investment? So I'm actually in the process of trying to get everything covered under one insurance plan, which in Canada has just been an absolute pain. It's insane the amount of companies here that don't want to insure sealed booster boxes. For the longest time, it's just been insured under two different like house insurance plans with personal article floaters, and that's how I've done it for a long time. But it's getting to the point now where the value is so high that I need to get another plan. So there's a couple companies I'm talking to right now in Canada, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to go with yet. And I'm still looking at other options as well because they're fairly expensive. It's I've been quoted about 1% of the collection in terms of like a yearly premium. So it's fairly pricey. If you're building a smaller position, you could probably get way cheaper insurance through like renters and then getting a personal article floater. That was an option for me. And then even if you own a home, like an add-on to your home insurance would be a way to go as well, I think. But there might also be cheaper options. Like if you want to put your stuff in a storage unit, that's also a way you could potentially go and get it a little bit cheaper. Question: I have a sealed booster box from OPO1 Blue Bottom to OP10, EBO1, EBO2, and PRBO1. Is this the best time to sell? I mean, stuff is up, so if you want to take profits, you can take profits. But I I believe in the long-term vision of One Piece. I like what Bandai is doing, and I think when you apply my thesis, right? My thesis is that gambling has become a very large factor in society. Tons of people are trying to find ways to make money in the short term, and unfortunately, opening packs has kind of fallen into that. So I buy the deflationary assets, the booster boxes. I sit on them for a long period of time, and in the future, they're going to be more expensive. That's kind of the goal. So with something like OPO 5, 09, 11, a lot of the stronger sets in One Piece, I still think that they have a long ways to go if we're looking at the 5-year outlook of their pricing. So it ultimately depends on you. Like, do you believe in the long term of One Piece? Do you need the money? And yeah, so many questions that I can't really answer for you. That's gonna be something you have to decide on. Unique, what's up, man? Dang, I'm late. I went to play OP at locals, and I was the only one who showed up. Well, that's a bummer, man. Just got back home. Well, now you can join the live stream, hang out for a bit if you want. That's frustrating though, man. Do you normally have more people at locals? I mean, I know it's the holiday season, so I'm sure some people are doing things with family and friends, and maybe that'll be like a 2026 thing. Starts to pop off again. Do you play the One Piece card game regularly? Nope, never. I have no interest in it. I did say last stream, I thought about potentially learning the game and getting really good at it, kind of just as a meme. And I think that doing something like that would take way too much time. So if I dive into something, I like to go head first. And I just don't think that's a great use of my time right now. Question: expectations on OP12. SP art is unique to any other set. Bonnie and Teach are more like earlier cards, potential ceiling. I think OP12 over the next few years, I think it's very realistic to see that box, assuming assuming the reprint pattern stays fairly consistent, right? They don't change a ton for OP12. I could definitely see that box being $200 to $250 one day. I think just looking at the value in there, I would say it's better than a set like Wings of the Captain. And OPO6 is what, 275 now? So yeah, I think it's going to be in that range for sure. I think that's very reasonable. We are effing live, baby. We are live right now. We've been live for almost an hour too, so thank you everyone who's in here hanging out on a Sunday. That's crazy. Potatoes, what's up, man? Yo, 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 we eating good, another stream. We are back with another stream, and I saw that we had a couple super chats come in, so I do want to address these. First, thank you for answering my questions. No problem, man. Good luck, OP13 2026. Rocket emoji. Yep. Let's go, man. 2026. I am very excited. I think it's going to be a big year, not just for me personally, but for One Piece and hopefully for all of you guys watching as well. Positive vibes, right? Like you gotta speak things into existence. Thank you, and thanks to Jason and Pookie. Thank you, Ferret, for the dono. Appreciate you being here, man. Means a lot. Really does. And I know I say that like it's like it's kind of like a reflex, right, to say that, but I do mean it a ton. It's crazy that everyone's here. I really am humbled and appreciate it. It's amazing. Let's see. That's got to be the biggest fumble selling up BO5 and '09 dirt cheap. Hey, Jason probably made really good money though, because he is going through tons and tons of cases. So, can't hate on it, but yeah, I think in the future, Jason, you should just, if you're still here, put a couple cases to the side and hold them. Schmuck insurance. What is your take on winter cards long term? I don't really have a really strong take on any card, to be honest, but I think some of these lower pop winter cards could be potentially good plays for sure. I like the borders on them too. Go win the winter cards? Yeah, some people. Some people will win them. What do you think of OPO9 long term? I am a huge fan of OPO9 long term. I think it's still undervalued if we're looking at like a 5-year outlook. If OPO 5 is getting to $750, $800, I think it's very reasonable to assume that OPO 9 could get there in the future, assuming that the reprint schedule stays the same. If Bandai starts going back and say they reprint '09 and they don't reprint '05, and we have a lot more out there, then things change. But just based on the top 10 value, the cards inside of it, I think that that will happen in the future. Ruby is lurking in the background. I don't think Ruben's watching this stream. I don't think so. I think he's got a lot of better things to do with his time. But I'll just say, Rudy, man, like that would be the dream collab. I feel like for anyone in this space, I I really look up to Rudy. I mean, I think a lot of his takes are goofy, especially when it came to Pokemon and even in One Piece. You know, he's got so much going on. Obviously, he's not going to know every little thing about each set, but yeah, when he said that Fusion Strike could potentially be higher than Evolving Skies last year, or I guess it was this year, I don't know. That was, yeah, I was like, okay, Rudy, come on. You know better than that. Is OPO9 ever getting a reprint? That's the $1 million question. I mean, we've already seen a reprint of the set earlier this year, at least in North America. The box went from, I think, about 180 down to around 165, and it's rebounded since then. So, will we get another one? Who knows? Time will tell. Hmm. Let's see. I bought every OP13 box within 2 hours of my city in a case before the big run up. I hope there's a reprint too. Yeah, I mean, before the run up, man, everything was just so cheap. I couldn't believe that stores in Canada were giving you a discount if you bought a case. I had never seen that before. And maybe I just hadn't paid attention, but to discount OP13 of all sets, like, yeah, crazy. Easy buy at 140 for sure. Question, what is a good buy price for PRBO2? I think if you're around 200, around market, like I still feel that long term 230 is like a decent entry point on PRBO2, especially because it is a premium booster. So assuming we don't get a reprint of the booster boxes, it seems fair. But if you can find it sub $200, that's pretty good. Just wanted to say hi from Richmond. What's up, man? I'm assuming you're talking about Richmond, like down on the coast in BC. That's awesome. And how do I say your name? Koi John? Koijan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I feel like I've butchered so many names. Someone's gonna make a compilation of it one day. But that's all right. Destined Rivals is so far. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to bring up Pokemon on this live stream, but it's a good set. Question, I have a sealed booster box of OPL1 blue bottomed. Okay, I feel like we talked about this. I feel like I answered that one already. I need to get my Sanji manga graded. Yeah, Pookie for sure. I mean, what, 5,000 yesterday for the BGS 10? It's getting up there. Getting up there for sure. Greetings from Slovenia. What's going on? I'm curious if you think the joy will fade away in the coming years. That's a really dark statement, man. If the joy will fade away, are we talking just about the TCG of One Piece? Are we talking about the world, people's hopes and dreams? I think that I'll answer this as best I can. I think based on the current market, we're in a hype cycle. So I think there will be a time where things are maybe popping a little bit less. And that might be a decent opportunity to buy some of the stronger sets and build your positions. Do I think the joy will fade away in life? For some people, it will. For some people, it won't. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for watching from Slovenia. That's another country that I really hope to visit one day. In your opinion, what do you think is OPTCG's biggest threat on the collector's side, besides if they decide to turn on the printers? It's a really good question. I don't have a good answer for you. Like I do think the printers being turned up is obviously like a huge thing. Outside of that, I would say probably if the anime ends and the hype for One Piece, just in terms of like wider culture, goes away, that could be a big threat. Hmm. And that's always been a threat. And I don't think it's something to be super worried about. But outside of them printing this into the ground, just from the collector aspect, I think that would be one of the large issues. Question, I'm gonna keep asking for that Riftbound channel. Quite a few people into it right now and just floods OP chat sometimes. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think the channel's gonna happen for Riftbound. It's something that I've been contemplating looking more heavily into, so maybe one day. Maybe over the holidays I'll get a chance to do a little bit more research. Question, do you think there will be reprints of OP11 in the future? Again, who knows? They did do a reprint or restock. There might have been multiple at this point in North America. So will they do another one? Who knows? It's tough to answer. But I will say, if they do reprint OP11, it's going to be a very solid buying opportunity, in my opinion. He skipped my Dawn question twice, Lel. So go on. What was your Dawn question, Pookie? Again, like maybe you put. Let me scroll up here. I need my Sanchi manga. Anything I can find. TCG player. Box went back down. Did get a reprint. I mean, I'm looking for it. Unless it's like way at the top. And now I'm gonna lose my place, which isn't good. I don't see it, unfortunately. Sorry about that. And again, it's gonna take me some time to get this whole chat thing down. So apologies if I do miss your questions. Question, do you plan to do short-term investing flipping to roll over profits? I do a little bit of that, right? Like you can see behind me in the top right corner, there's a PRBO2 for Asia case. I bought that off a friend kind of as a favor, and that's something I do want to move short term. But for the most part, I don't really do that anymore. If I see an opportunity where I could easily invest like 10K and move it for 13, 14, I'll do it. But it's not something that I'm actively pursuing, if that makes sense. Question, do you pay your display full price? I'm assuming you mean full price, meaning retail price or professional price discount. So I just buy from stores wherever and whoever has the best price, or if I have connections and they give me a better price, that's where I buy from. So I don't have distro. I can't buy at distro prices. And normally I think a lot of my stuff has been above MSRP. So whatever market is at the time, that's generally what I'll be paying for sealed product. Let's see. What do you think about OPO9 in the long term? What are the price targets? I feel like I talked about this a little bit. Long term, I think it's going to be, I could see it being $800, $1,000 5 years from now if One Piece is still popping. Short term, I think a lot of the short term value in O9's gone. Maybe we see it move to like 400 again because I think we're back down to 375, 380, a lot of sales, but I think it's going to stay in that range for a while. Question, was it a good idea to pull funds out of TSA? Yeah, look, for some people, I'm sure it works out, but um, generally, maxing your TFSA is going to be a really good thing long term. Who Collector, love that sheet too. I'm not a huge Collector fan, but if people use Collector, I am down to do portfolio reviews. So maybe I should say that again. If you guys are, I wonder if anyone has actually left one. Oh, we have seen another one. Okay, guys, I am slacking, so I'm gonna open this, and then I come back into StreamYard. I'm sure you guys just got flashbanged, so sorry about that. Okay, we're gonna open this one as well. So if you guys want me to, oh, you guys can't see this too. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, we'll go like this. If you guys do want me to review your portfolios and talk about what you have, you can go into the Discord. It's linked in the video description, and you can DM it to me or just leave it in the One Piece channel, and we'll take a look at it. All right, let's see. So Robert, you have about 146K invested, 367 total cards, 46 sealed products. Let's go to sealed only because I don't really want to give takes on individual cards. I guess we can look at the 1B stuff, but let's see. Is this a blue bottom case? It's looking like that. Amazing. Great item to have. EV Heroes, that's Pokemon, but another very solid product. That became Evolving Skies in English. Super pre-release starter decks. Amazing. Another one, the Luffy first anniversary English. These were products that I 100% missed out on this year. I I really wasn't a huge fan of the promos and the fact that there was no packs in them, but these have absolutely exploded. So good on you if you got those. Second anniversary as well. A case worth of OPO5, amazing. Almost a case of OPO9, also very good. Paramount War, one box, whatever. Two boxes of EBO2. I think I would like this to be a little bit higher. Same thing with OP13, only a couple boxes. Maybe there's no cases. So yeah, I think your priority should be get some more OP13. That would just be my guess. PRBO2, maybe you want to build that up a little bit. OP11, you have a little bit of all of these, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, OP13, I feel like should be one of your top priorities, I feel. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Let's see. How come you don't store your sealed products in a secure storage, or do you plan to? It's insured. So, if it ever gets stolen or anything like that, I'm covered, which is fine. I'm in the process of trying to get everything insured under one plan right now. I know some people put stuff in storage. For me too, I do a lot of shorts, right? And I think in the future, having something in the background is important as well. So that's why I keep it where I live for the most part. A lot of it's also in another location, and insured there too. So that's why I do that, just because it's going to be in a lot of videos. But if I wasn't actively making content, it wouldn't be here. But I'm also not worried about it. And if someone, look, man, if someone wants to try, come and try, dude. That's all I'll say. Come and try. Question, Pokebros moving in hard due to OP13 hype. Do you think market cools when they realize they can't flip OP14 the way OP13 did? And when they realize a barrier to entry for Rippers more than Pokemon? Uh, Yeah, so with the hype we're seeing right now, I think a lot of it is not organic growth. It's people coming in speculating. So comparing it to something like the Pokemon boom of 2025, I don't think it's going to last as long just because I think there are a decent amount of people here just trying to make a profit. Now, will it be OP14? Who knows? At the same time, there are more collectors coming in, right? Like there are people interested in One Piece. And I think that will continue as more creators continue to make content around the One Piece TCG. So it's hard to tell. I don't think it's going to last as long as the Pokemon Bull Run, but I also don't think that it changes anything in terms of long-term outlook on the game, right? Hopefully that answers your question. Do you see value in Japanese cards in the long term as English cards get more scarce and harder to buy in the future? I don't invest in Japanese, so I don't see value there. I think English is the place to be. Now, it might get to a point where the gap between English and Japanese is so wide it makes sense to buy some Japanese, but for me it's never going to be something that I invest in. So I think for everyone, you're going to have to decide if that gap is wide enough right now or maybe in the future. You should learn it gives you more insight into what the fuck you are investing in. I 100% disagree. I'm assuming you're talking about learning the TCG. I 100% disagree. Like there is very little value in knowing how to play the game and how that would translate to investing. All you have to do is literally look at top 5, 10 values, look at the artworks. If you understand the rarities, like that's really all you need. I don't understand how knowing meta decks and meta relevant cards, how that translates into buying better products. Now, if you have insights into distribution because you've made connections that way, like sure, that gives you an advantage. But I think just in knowing the rules of the TCG, that really doesn't give you an advantage at all. Especially in a game like One Piece where it's so top heavy. Like the the clear investments are very obvious for the most part, right? What was the best food you ate in Colombia? First of all, man, you guys know what I'm gonna say. Double O. Double O, guys. Double O. I have to say it. Look, I'm married to a Colombian, so no. The best foods, the best foods for sure. Um Bandeja paisa is great. I can't eat egg, unfortunately. I'm allergic, but I mean chicharron, frijoles, arroz. Sometimes they'll do like coconut rice too, which is amazing. I love coconut rice. What else would you have in there? Avocado. Like the avocados in Colombia are amazing. Here in Canada, the things you get at the store are tiny. Like if I make a fist and my hands are very small, like the avocados we get here are smaller than that, right? And in Colombia, you're getting an avocado, I don't know, double, triple the size, and it's a third of the price, and they taste way better. So yeah, just basic foods like that. I mean, I love chicharron, but it's not the healthiest thing either. So yeah, big fan of that. And then also ajiaco. I love the soups. Like it's really common there if you go to a restaurant. You start with a soup, whether it's like a fish base or a meat base, whatever, and then after that you'll order your entree, or I guess it'll kind of come together. But yeah, yeah, soups, ajiaco, bandeja paisa, chicharron, so many good things there. Question: do you think PRBO2 is undervalued because of the timing with OP13? And would you agree that because of that, there could be a high possibility that the price of PRBO2 is going to go crazy soon? I don't think PRBO2 is ever going to go crazy. I think the cards inside don't really lend it to exploding like that in the future, if that makes sense. But I think it's going to be steady growth. I think it's an underrated set for what you mentioned because it's kind of sandwiched between OP11 on one side, OP13 on the other, and with the hype of EBO3 as well, I feel like a lot of people didn't really give it the attention it deserved. So I don't think it's going to explode, but I'm still very bullish on it long term. Your videos are fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate that, Gotham Collections. Do you like best selection volume sets? I do. I like the premium boosters, 1 and 2. I imagine, I mean, I'll wait to see what's going to be in 3, but I imagine I'll pick up a case of that at least, if not more. Ultimately, it does depend on what's in there. I think people are overanalyzing singles. Look at the booster box price and the top chase cards and see if there's a big discrepancy in price. That was easy money play last couple of weeks. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Like, we're in a market where everything's going up, and that tends to make people seem smarter than they actually are. So it's like you could have just bought anything and made money, and it's not always going to be that way. So I just stick to what I know. Like, buy the obvious winners. If you want to gamble on riskier plays, alternate art cards that are maybe more obscure, lower pop, whatever, like that's fine, but just know that you're doing that going into something that's going to have more volatility and it's probably going to be a little bit riskier. Distribution in Canada has stopped One Piece orders as things went crazy until further notice. That's interesting. Straw Hat, what do you? I mean, I know there's what Universal does One Piece in Canada, I believe, and then does like Prince and some other companies do it. I'd be curious to know if which company you have distro through, if you're allowed to say that, or if it's all of them, right? That'd be interesting as well. Saying hi from LA, went to the Collecticon and it's crazy. Tony, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. LA is beautiful weather. I'm kind of jealous. It's cold and snowy outside in Nelson, so not the best place to be this time of year. Collecticon though, that's good. It's definitely a good thing that there's still a lot of people going to those. It's very important for the growth of the hobby, I would say. Do you think both Pokemon and OP can remain lucrative and popular and possibly start a whole different ecosystem for opportunities for people to make double the money? I'm not I'm not really sure what you mean by making double the money. Like just in terms of general people being able to make more. I think that Pokemon and even One Piece now, right? Like it's given people the opportunity to turn a hobby into a career already. So it'd be difficult for me to imagine how that would change again and bring even more people in outside of the content creation space or LGSs or whatever that we already see. So for me, it's difficult to imagine, but I think it's already happening before our eyes. Hopefully, that's a good enough answer. Lucky bet, and thank you for being here. Appreciate the comment. OPTCG's biggest threat is to do a ton of collabs, like what Magic is doing. Yeah, I don't mind the promo collabs in my opinion. I think it's fine. I don't know. That's just my opinion though. I like that they're branching out. I think they kind of have to do that too to just have more influence, in my opinion. I mean, sure they're growing slow and steady, but if you can attract different people through those collabs and they do them properly, like yeah, I personally think it's fine, but that's just me. I'm sure there's probably a really good argument you could make though. Like if we sat down and chatted it out that you could maybe convince me otherwise. A new future One Piece junkie is born every minute. That's correct. Actually, every second. They're multiplying at a very fast rate. Question: how has your thesis changed after starting the show? How do you rate the show? Um, it's a good question. Let's see. I guess I can start off. How do I rate the show? I love One Piece, by the way. I I wasn't a huge fan in the beginning. Like the dialogue of the first 400 episodes is awful. Like whoever wrote that or did the translations, like it's pretty bad. Let's be real. But the show in general is amazing. I love the character development, everything that's happened. Obviously post time skip, I've enjoyed it a lot more. But even how things that happened before the time skip tie into what's currently happening. And again, I'm not caught up. Like I'm finishing Wano. Hopefully by, let's say, the end of December, I'll be done. I don't have a ton of time to watch, but I try and watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a day. So yeah, where I'm at and what I've watched, like I'm a big fan. I've really enjoyed it. Um, in terms of how my thesis has changed, I'm not sure that the show or watching the show has changed my thesis at all. So even before I started watching and knew a lot about One Piece, it was obvious, right? And you can just go look at the numbers. The winners were clear. OPO5, I mean, Romance Dawn compared to a lot of the earlier sets had good value and it had strong cards as well. OPO9, PRBO1, like it was just such no-brainers that you should have got some exposure to those. And it's still the same way, I feel. Like the top sets that have the clear value are the ones that I want to build the largest positions in. So in that sense, like it hasn't changed at all. I'd say that I'm definitely looking at products that Bandai puts out that are maybe anniversary sets. Those are starting to interest me a lot more. I haven't purchased any yet, but it's something that I'm going to pay attention to a lot more moving forward because I definitely undervalued the first and second anniversary sets. Hopefully that's a good enough answer. And if it's not, let me know if you need any sort of elaboration on that. Question, you skipped my question 2 times, so third time the charm. Sorry, man. I mean, look, the chat's going crazy. I'm skipping all over the place, but we're here now. Let's see. Have you considered buying super pre-release starter decks? Prices are exploding, by the way. Love your dedication. This is another thing that I probably undervalued a lot last year. I wouldn't be buying them at these prices because, and the biggest issue I have with things like this is all the value is tied to the card inside. So if the card pops off, great. Like that Luffy promo's very expensive now. But outside that, like what are you really getting in these products, right? Whereas if you're buying a booster box and the cards inside, you know the cards are going to be in there. And even if those values fluctuate, you get a good idea of how strong a set is very early on. So I just like being in booster boxes where there's packs, and that's kind of where a lot of the value is compared to products like these where a lot of it's just tied to the promos. But again, like the first and second anniversary sets have done very well. And I think if you're looking at future products that have exclusive artworks and they're in these types of products and it could be something that potentially pops off, like sure, I think at that point it's probably worth buying. Let's see. Question: why would you buy again OP13 if they reprint? I thought it was a bad thing to reprint. No, reprints aren't a bad thing. I actually like reprints because it allows people to get product for cheaper, right? So if you don't reprint anything and boxes run, it's very difficult to grow your games. It's very difficult to get people involved in collecting just because they have to pay an arm and a leg to buy product. So I like the idea of reprints. And if you're a long-term investor, you view those opportunities as a time to dollar cost average and build your positions. So no, OP13 is fine. Now, if you're a scalper, if you're actually a scalper and you're here for the short-term flip, yeah, reprints suck, right? Because then you're gonna have to sit on product for longer. But if you're here for the long term, it's not something to be concerned about. Yo, bro, Top Cat, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you for being here. You left another comment. First time catching a stream. Love your videos. The data you provide is unmatched. Thank you, man. I try my best to kind of go crazy with it too. I think I'm probably the only person on YouTube, not just in the One Piece space, but Pokemon, who actually looks at the secondary market data. Looking at eBay sales, and yeah, I try and go deeper than everyone else. What are the best mangas to get right now? Please answer my question. Thank you. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? I had someone comment last night on one of my videos that they thought a lot of people were undervaluing the cheaper ones, just like the Sabo, the Rayleigh, etc. I think you could make an argument for that. some of those aren't extremely high pop. Long term, I still think that a lot of the top mangas, like the Gold Roger, but I mean that's getting up there in price too. So yeah, I look, I think that a lot of these cards is going to be very difficult to find short term value, and then long term, personally, I would rather have my money in the more expensive, more popular, more desirable mangas. But that's just my opinion. So if you disagree, you want to buy the cheaper ones, go for it. And if you want to just buy sealed product, that's something I can absolutely get behind. Coop be uploading more OP content than I expected. Yeah, he's going hard for sure. And it'll be interesting to see if anyone, I feel like Coop. By the way, Coop's great. Like no hate towards Coop, but I do think that his audience is just so hardcore Pokemon, and also there's a lot of people in his audience that I don't think would be interested in One Piece at all. So sure, there'll be some overlap for sure, but I don't know to the extent that's actually going to make a massive dent in the One Piece DCG world, or just a smaller dent. We'll have to wait and see. Yo, brother, you have lots of fans from Europe. Do you think it is possible to build into your videos also from the European market? Uh, First of all, thank you. If you're watching from Europe, I appreciate you, Amar. I look, it's very difficult for me to do that, especially on a daily basis. Like I'm already stretched so thin in terms of time when it comes to like having to do my spreadsheet basically every single day. I mean, today, luckily, I didn't have to do something. Running the consult calls now, like that's been insanely busy, takes up a ton of my time. And then making content and just prepping videos and editing. So it's something I've considered adding because I understand that there are people who watch from Europe. It's something I've even considered adding to the spreadsheet, like doing a card market update. I have to look deeper because I'm not sure if I can actually find sales data on card market. Like I know they have their graph and you can see the price, but in terms of the amount of boxes actually moving, I'm not sure if it's something I can actually get access to. And I think just looking at like lowest listed and stuff, like I guess I could do that, but I also don't think it's very interesting data, if that makes sense. So we'll see. That's something I have been considering, but right now there's probably some higher level priorities. And that's not an insult to anyone from Europe either. It's just, I have so much going on that is something I hope I can do, but again, time, I only have so many hours in the day right now. I've only been in One Piece 5 months, but probably dropped 30,000 pounds. Okay, into it so far. I mean, that's a lot of money, man. A lot of dough. But if you got in 5 months ago, I'm sure you're already up a decent amount. I think you have a lot of OP13, right, Vegan? I feel like I've heard you say that a few times at least at this point. By the way, guys, we're at about an hour and a half. If you haven't, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like on the video. Helps out a ton getting these videos pushed out to more people, and the live stream, of course. And then what else do I want to show? We have a discount code for the spreadsheet, lifetime access. You can use the code Christmas in all caps. You get 55% off. I'll probably run that until the end of Boxing Day if you guys are interested. And yeah, thank you everyone for being here. We'll probably go a little bit longer. I'm still not caught up on chat, but we're almost there. And then I think at that point we'll call it because I have a couple videos to record, consult tonight too. So just more stuff to do. But I do enjoy doing the lives, so hopefully we can do this more often. Knowing the game will only help with a quick profit on individual cards is knowing which ones will be in demand to improve. Yeah, I agree. Like I guess, to Pookie's point, like if you're trying to flip short term, like sure, there could actually be value there. Um, if you're really into that game, but long term investing, there's 100% no value add, I think. But short term flips, again, that's a way to make money as well. Let's go, Drawn Souls. We all getting the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh man, I look. This might be a hot take, but I think they still look terrible. That's just me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan at all. I know everyone's hyping it up on YouTube now, though. I was about to say the same thing. Interesting. I think you guys are having a conversation in the chat. Let's see. Steph, Steph, what's up, man? Hey, mate, first time I see you live. Appreciate you being here, bro. It'll hopefully be the first of many. First of many that we get to run through. He needs mods to time out that G. 100% I need mods. I haven't really been paying attention to if anyone's saying anything bad. But if someone's saying stuff bad, I mean, look, like it really doesn't bother me either. You know, it's really interesting. I've had like two or three people come in and talk about my hairline and me being bald, and that's fine, dude. Like, you know, if people are doing that, you must just like really hate your life or be down bad. So, yeah, it doesn't bother me. But if someone's saying like racial slurs or something in chat, like for sure, or insulting other people, like we should try and get a mod for future live streams. The problem is, you know, I have to vet a mod too, so it'll be in the works eventually. No question, but greetings from Austria. Florian, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. That's amazing. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's stocked up on water this time. I have a much larger mug this time. It's helped out a ton for sure. So that's great. I think you missed my questions. Sonny, make sure to put question in all caps before that. I don't want to scroll up. Like I've just been looking for that question basically. So if someone didn't frame it before they actually started typing, I probably scrolled over it. For example, like right here, you can see with Jason's thing, it says question at the front. Do you find for Asia booster sets tougher to move, sell compared to North American print? I've had people mention this before. Yeah, I still think it's a little bit more difficult. And a lot of that I think just comes down to education and people not understanding there's a difference. Because I have my case up in the national group right now, and I've had people ask me if there's like any difference between the cards and stuff. So in the future, I think once that level of education's kind of, you know, it's reached a point where people understand there's no difference. I think it'll be easier to move them. Let's see. I think there's a couple more questions in here. Question about your content. Yo, brother, you have lots of fans. Okay, we covered this already. We covered that. Question, is there something you can do on your end to increase the characters so we can all type more? I don't believe so. I think that's the max. I'll double check after the stream, but I'm pretty sure that's just like YouTube system. And that's all you can do. Question, would you say that you may underestimate the value of a product separated from the value? Would you say that you may underestimate the value of a product separated from the value of the contents inside? Collectability, rarity, display purposes, etc., all play a huge part. Um, I'm not sure if this is something I undervalue. I mean, I definitely agree that collectability, scarcity, display purposes for sure. These are all things I agree play a role. Would you say that you may underestimate the value of a product separated from the value of the contents inside? Um, yeah, maybe. Like, who knows? I guess it's possible. I think the majority of the value in a sealed product comes from the cards, though. Like all these other things are very secondary, if that makes sense. So I think, you know, in order, sure, scarcity is a huge thing. If you look at EBO1, that's a box that's run up to almost $1,000, but there really isn't anything great in there, but there's just not a ton of boxes out there. And yeah, so like maybe I guess I've undervalued that, but no, I definitely rate those as factors for sure. And by the way, this is why I'm such a huge fan of booster boxes, because the display value is there and the collectability is there. Whereas with something like let's say double packs or sleeve boosters, like sure some people like to display sleeve boosters, but there's going to be way more people who want a booster box. And the double packs, sure, like maybe some people want to display those, but compared to the amount of people that want to display a booster box, I don't think it's even close. Just signed up for your spreadsheet. Excited to get the information. Thank you. I appreciate that. Terry, right? I believe I saw your name earlier today when I was sending out the invites. I think, if I'm not losing my mind here. So thank you. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And I think that's, yeah, I'm not losing my mind. Let me go check. This isn't on screen, I don't think. Actually, I don't even want to risk it, but I'm pretty sure I remember the name. And thank you. If you have any questions or recommendations for the sheet, definitely let me know. Bro, can you answer my question? I already answered this. You guys just gotta be patient, man. You know, there's lots of chats, and when they're all coming in, and I can only go so fast, so patience, patience, patience. Do you plan to add current market value for each booster box for your Kingpin spreadsheet? I see overall value for your TCG portfolio and buy-in price. So I clump everything in current market value just at the top. And it's just that small number of market value. I guess I could do that, but it's extra work. So I'm not exactly sure if I want to do that for every single item. If I think of a better way to display it in the future outside of a spreadsheet, I might do that. We'll see. I'm talking with a company right now, and hopefully in 2026, if things go well, we can get some stuff signed, and I'll be able to maybe incorporate it into a particular app or something, which I am excited about. But again, there's lots of work to be done still. But short-term answer, no, I don't think I'm going to do that just because it's more work. You and Kaizukui is TCG carrying the OP at TCG YouTube scene right now. Yeah, I mean he's grinding, putting out lots of videos. Coop is large enough to experiment for sure. I agree. I agree. I've got all mangas up to Rayleigh. I want to get the rest for the collection, but it's getting pricey, especially with the newer ones. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Some of these manga cards are getting up there, and I think that I don't know, the Mihawk might not be terribly expensive when that comes out. And by terribly, I mean I don't know, five, six, seven, $800. I would be surprised if it's more than 1,000 or like 1,100. That would be my guess, but maybe it's a little bit more expensive. Who knows? First couple sales maybe will go crazy, but we'll see. And another Q, have you identified any arbitrage opportunities between NA, EU, Asia? Some products are 100% more in NA than EU, while others only 30%. Seems like nice opportunities waiting there. Yeah, I mean, there's some. It's not something I really have time for now. You know, I'm grateful that I'm at the point where I don't need to be constantly buying and selling. It's more like if I, you know, want to build a connection with someone or just do a little bit of business to help them out, I'll do that. For some people, I agree. Like you're already seeing, you know, Jason's a prime example in the chat. He's got a ton of 4Asia stuff that he brings over and he sells in Canada. So there's definitely a place for sure. Are there any sets that are guaranteed to not get reprints? Nothing's guaranteed in One Piece. Don't put anything by Bandai. I mean, I should say the only thing not guaranteed, or that is guaranteed rather, would be OPO1 Blue Bottoms, because those had error cards. Those were reprinted in the white bottoms. So outside of the blue bottoms, which we're not getting more of, anything else is still technically fair game. But I think the likelihood that they reprint 01, 02, 03, 04, even like OPO 5, 6, 7, 8, who knows? I think the likelihood those get reprints are very low. What do you think about the premium card collection 25th edition? I haven't really looked into it, to be honest. Is that the one where they all have the really shocked faces and their eyes are popping out? Is that the one, or is that a different one? Yeah, I really need to start paying more attention to those. We'll see. What are your expectations for OP 14 and 15? If you're going to get into them, is it worth picking up a case or focusing on older sets, assuming you're going long term? Yeah, I think 14 is going to be somewhere middle of the pack, I would imagine. I don't think it's going to be the best set ever. So it's hard for me to justify buying a ton of it when I could just save money for a OP13 reprint, or I can just dollar cost average into OP11. If I can buy OP12 cheaper than OP14, which seems to be the case right now, at least in Canada, I'm probably just going to buy 12, even though 14 might be a little bit better of a set long term. Like, who knows? I think they're going to be close. But if I'm buying a set that's 6, 8 months older at that point for 10, 15% cheaper, I feel like I'd rather go with that. But yeah, they're going to be okay. I think 15. I feel like we don't know enough about to really, at least the cards inside of it, to really get a good idea of how that's going to ultimately end up. Thoughts on the newest sets, David? I appreciate you being here. I kind of just answered that, so hopefully that makes sense. And then EBO3 as well. I guess I could touch on. I think EBO3 is going to be good. It's going to be a good set. I still think it's overrated. People are hyping it so much. I don't think it's going to be near an S tier investment, in my opinion. Then also, just because Canada, like, no one's really done pre-orders yet. I think it's kind of the same in other parts of the world. The boxes are probably going to be fairly expensive at release, like more expensive than I'd be thrilled to pay to build a large position. Let's see. Is it worth buying Otis Sig or Rogers manga or PRBO2 manga? RBO2 manga, Luffy. PRBO2. I read it as PRBO2, but RBO2 manga, Luffy. OP11? OP09? I don't know which manga Luffy you're talking about, but in terms of Otis Sig or Rogers manga, I think it depends on how large of a position you're trying to build and what your long-term outlook is. If you're building a very large position, you believe in One Piece long term, and you are dead set on buying the graded cards or the single cards, those are probably two of the better ones that you could choose. They're iconic cards. But if you aren't putting a ton of money into One Piece, for example, say you're building a $10,000 position, I would not feel comfortable putting 80% of that into a Roger manga ungraded, or 50, 60% of that into an Oda Sig ungraded. To me, that just doesn't make sense. So it ultimately depends on what you're doing. Question: should I sell my blisters and buy booster boxes? I would. I would, without even knowing without even knowing what blisters you have. I mean, if you have pre-errata OPO1 blisters, might be worth holding on to a few of those. But I just think in general, it's not even that I think, just I know based on history, right? In TCGs, generally booster boxes tend to outperform. And then also just from the time perspective, I understand you can sell them in lots, but it is going to be a lot easier to offload one booster box compared to the equivalent in sleeve boosters. Prince doesn't have One Piece Universal has stopped until they review the situation, meaning jack up. Yeah, exactly. Jack it up on remaining stock. That's frustrating, man. That's really frustrating. I feel like it's already hard enough as it is in Canada to get distro and get decent prices. Just from talking to a couple store owners, it's definitely seems like a difficult situation. That's frustrating. Hmm. I don't think I'd be curious to know too, like before they made that decision, what they had left in stock. Because I talked to, I'm not gonna say who, but I talked to someone who owns a store in Ontario about a month ago at this point, and I think they didn't have OP11 left. They had a lot of OP12, I think OP10. So I don't know how much they actually have left, but it'd be interesting to hear your perspective. You'd know way more than I do. You're being so patient, taking all the questions. Glad you're doing the live now. Thank you. I mean, I'm trying to take all the questions. Like, I feel it's almost insulting if someone leaves a question, I don't answer it. I feel bad if I'm missing questions, but I'm just going in the list, and if I see question in all caps, it's very easy for me to take. So if I don't see that and I miss someone's question, I feel bad, but uh, it is what it is. I mean, I'm trying my best, right? It's all we can do in life. Question: what do you think, or who do you think, sorry, will be the primary group of buyers when you decide to sell and take profits, collectors or other investors? So I don't necessarily think it's going to be either of those. So let me say, I think there will be some collectors who want minty boxes for their collection for sure. That'll be one portion. You will have investors who at that time want to buy boxes. I think a large percentage of what I sell will go to people who want to open product. That's really what I believe. So whether it's a rip and ship, whether it's someone just trying to buy a box to open at home, whether it's the holidays or their birthday, whatever, I think that's where a lot of it's ultimately going to end up. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be directly there through a rip and ship, but that's kind of the thought process. Question, I did answer that one already, subs. Question, what's a long-term buy, OP11 or 12? I've seen a bunch of OP11 booster boxes at my local toy store. Long-term, I think OP11 is going to outperform OP12 for sure. I think when you just look at the value in there, you look at the top chases. Bonnie's great. The Blackbeard gold and silvers are fine too, but you compare that to the gold Luffy, which is probably one of the best cards we've gotten over the past couple of years. The Gear 4 manga Luffy is great as well. I feel like that's kind of a talking point that a lot of people overlook. And then I think when you look at SPs, I might actually give the edge to OP12. I'm not a huge fan of the OP11 SPs. I think that the main artwork is kind of lazy. Like the backgrounds are cool, but so maybe give an edge to OP12 there. But I think overall, it's clearly OP11. Question: what will the simultaneous release of Japanese and English booster boxes mean for cards on the market, in your opinion? Um, I don't really think it changes too much, to be honest. It's not like, as far as I'm aware, the distribution channel is not going to be changing. So it's not like there's going to be more product going certain places. I could be wrong about that. Uh, OP, I guess before they do the simultaneous release, Japan gets the head start in terms of the meta, and we get an idea of what cards are going to be valued at. So generally, if a card in Japanese is say $500, it's reasonable to assume it's going to be somewhere between like 800 and 1,000 in English. Generally, right? There's obviously outliers. So seeing the Japanese firsthand and what the market is, it gives us a better idea in English of what to pre-order, in my opinion. So maybe you're going to have more people speculating on pre-orders. Maybe you're going to have a shorter window to buy stuff out the gate in terms of sealed product, at least at a decent price. But in terms of the cards, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Question, sir. I'm from the Philippines. What's up, Lord Arbiter? Thank you for watching from the Philippines. I can't afford the English OP13 case. Is it all right to buy a Japanese OP13 case instead? So I've talked about this a couple times. I think that if you can't afford a case, by the way, that's fine. Like never feel bad because you can't buy as much as someone else. Uh, Comparison culture in society is incredibly toxic. But I think I would rather just take that money and put it towards OP13 booster boxes. If you can't buy the case, buy one or two boxes. I would rather do that than buy Japanese. Yeah, I'm happy with that answer. What about the devil fruit? Worth investing? These are like the tins, right? I mean, it's more than just a tin. It's like a display piece, but you have a couple packs inside. This is something that I would, assuming I'm talking about the right product, that's something I would classify as an ancillary product. These things generally tend to underperform booster boxes, and that's why I like to stick with booster boxes. And they also seem like they're going to be fairly large. And when I was talking to my connection in Singapore, he he was basically getting told that he needed to take a lot of those in order to get OP13. So it doesn't seem like it's a product jumping off the shelves right now. Question, what are your expectations? I feel like we talked about this. If I didn't answer this one, yeah, like 14, 15, I think they're going to be middle of the road. At least 14, 15, we don't know enough about yet. And I wouldn't be buying a case. I think I'd rather save my money for 13 or just buy like 11 if it's cheaper. Yes, Terry's. Okay. Thank you, Terry. I was losing my mind there for a second. I could have sworn I saw it, but okay, that makes sense. Straw Speculator, have you tried buying from a wholesaler out of the US for one piece sealed product? I have not. I have not done that. I've purchased from Italy before. I've purchased from my guy in Singapore, who's amazing. But in terms of the States, I haven't, just because I think tariffs are still in place, right? I haven't bought anything from the States in so long. And yeah, if there is no tariffs, then maybe I'd start buying again from there. But right now I can get basically the same, if not cheaper prices in Canada or other parts of the world. How do you feel about the English first anniversary set boxes? I feel like I missed out on an opportunity. I definitely undervalued those. Again, it's something where like now that the box is $1,200, it's interesting because a lot of the value in those is tied to the cards inside. But at the same time, because there was such a large discrepancy in the value of the sealed box versus the PSA 10 cards inside, I feel like a lot of those got opened. And that's actually that's actually a video I'm planning to make in the future. I was gonna start tracking the PSA 10 pops on those just to see what happens over the next couple months, because that is kind of like my working thesis right now. Is a lot of those boxes got opened. So in the future, maybe there's not going to be as many out there, but again, you're buying something at a very large premium of MSRP now, where all the value is tied to the cards inside. So yeah. Is crashing out now crazy? After collecting for a few years, my collector is reaching near six figs. It's been crazy, especially the blue bottoms and OPO5. I don't think it's I don't think it's terrible to be taking profits on O5 or blue bottoms now, especially if you bought them for like $100, $200, right? Like you're up such a large multiple. And I would say for anyone, if you're starting to see the dollar amount and it's making you uncomfortable, it's probably a sign that you should at least limit your position, sell off a bit. Long term, I still see value in blue bottoms, OPO5. I mean, these are some of the better booster boxes that we're getting in One Piece. So I wouldn't sell everything. Keep a little bit schmuck insurance, but yeah, if you're getting uncomfortable, if that number is getting a little bit too high for you, if you want to take profits, by all means, that's definitely a decent time to be doing it. Bro, you seems to have no idea how OP community works. Uh, you seem to have very bad English. We'll leave it at that. And look, by the way, like I've had people telling me this for months now, right? Like the amount of gatekeepers I've had in my comment section on my investing videos, like there's always a new fool telling me I know nothing. And I feel like I'm batting pretty well right now. I wouldn't say 1,000, but maybe like 800, right? So, yeah, I mean like look, if you disagree with what I say and you want to invest a different way, like go for it. Who cares? That's the beauty of life, man. We can all do different things, and it all leads to different outcomes. Did you know for Gundam GDO1 there's a difference between first wave and second wave print? Second wave print, the Bandai text on the seal is flipped backwards. Check your box and see. I didn't know that. I will check after the live. That's interesting. Is there a way to send you a message like on Discord? Yeah, if you're in the Discord. Oh, by the way, I've had a message request here for a while. Let's see. You gotta look. M. Is this M? Sunny. Yeah, so if you do send me a message and you want me to review your collector app, send me the link directly to it so I can open that in Discord. If you just send me your ad, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it currently. Hey bro, thoughts on OP13 tin packs? Stay away from tins. That's my thoughts. It's not even out yet either. Yeah, so try and avoid ancillary products as much as possible. But if you want to go through the process of buying a lot of them and finding out for yourself, by all means, go for it. Hi, what's up, Morph? How's it going, man? I see you in the comments all the time. Appreciate you supporting the live. Chopper's the One Piece mascot, so I'm all in on everything Chopper. Once S2 the live action is released, my guess is there will be an increased demand for things like EBO1, Manga Rare, or Prize Chopper. Interesting thesis. Good workout for sure. hmm I think just in general, the Chopper manga is not as high pop compared to some of the other ones too. So it could be an interesting buy. Um, what do you think of the 2023 championship stamp cards? They're cards. I don't know. I don't have really strong takes on any individual card. I think championship cards could be an interesting play for sure. I think there will be people who make money there and probably have already made money. And yeah, could be a decent play. I think he means EBO2. Ah, okay. The EBO2 Luffy. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I like the EBO2 Luffy. I know I just said I don't have strong opinions on certain cards, but I think the EBO2 Luffy is a fairly iconic pose. But again, like, would you rather put that money into one card or would you rather put into sealed product? For me, for me, I know what my answer would be. Question: was Asia exclusive serial Onami worth getting? Serial Nami worth getting more than, I'm assuming, more than the manga right now? I don't know. It's a good question. That serial Nami is going for a decent amount on eBay for sure. And it's kind of surprising the Nami manga I kind of figured would be a little bit higher than it currently is. We really haven't seen it move that much, but yeah, tough choice. Yo, Jollibee, what's up? Just tuning in, been working and watching good old American football. Hey, America. Hope everything is doing well. Thank you, man. Everything is going well. Hopefully, everything is going well with you. I know that you had your Friendsgiving. That looked like a blast. So I'm jealous of the food, man. That made me so hungry when I was looking at that. Happy holidays. Amen. Happy holidays to everyone here as well. Let's see. I've started looking at vintage One Piece cards. I'm hoping eventually these become valuable because of their rarity. The new stuff is too expensive right now. That's fair as well. I think there is maybe going to be some plays in vintage. The the unfortunate truth about vintage though that some people don't like is that the cards look a lot worse than the new modern stuff. There's going to be a lot more people who just want the cool artworks, the textured cards, etc. The mangas as well. So it's going to be very difficult from an art perspective to compete. But yeah, maybe some of those low pop vintage cards could do well. Let's see. I think we're almost caught up here. Maybe not. Maybe I lied. 256. What time are we? 311. We're getting close. Almost caught up. Gotta go up for work in 6 hours, but thanks for the stream and answer, bud. Ferret, thank you for being here. And have a good night. Hopefully work is easy on you tomorrow, man. Mondays are never that easy. Well, last face reveal, dude. I have videos on the channel that have my face in them. If you go back and watch some of the earlier ones, I had a couple. I think a couple, at least one, where I showed up. So not a reveal, but yeah, looking to get in front of the camera more going into 2026. For me, the longest time, it's just been like laziness, having to actually set up cameras and everything, and then also earlier this year, I was trying to get a good mic set up, and I haven't figured one out. And even this mic isn't the best, but it's a little bit better now. So I think doing live streams is realistic. Do you think OPTCG will ever get to the point where the box itself costs more than the top chase card, like how it is in Pokemon right now? Um, I think so. I think that's possible for sure. I could definitely see that. hmm We'll see though. I don't think it's always going to be to the same level, right? Because a lot of people in Pokemon they talk about the top hit and like the PSA 10 value, and that's where the box should get to. But the problem with One Piece is the gem rates are way higher. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though, eventually if that happens with some of the sets. Question: what makes you hesitant about EBO3 waifu text plus EB set seems like a super no-brainer? It's not that I'm hesitant about it. I just think that a lot of people think it's like some god tier set or it's going to be an S tier investment. And I'm sure it'll be really good, but I've always just held from the beginning. I don't think it's enough just the waifu cards to be an S tier set. Like there's no Luffy or Shanks or any crazy mangas in there. And then also because of all the hype around it, I think out the gate it's going to be more expensive than what I want to pay to build a very large position. So I'll probably get a little bit just because I want to have some again schmuck insurance, but I don't think it's going to be a bad set by any means. Question: you think what you and many others do by investing and holding onto sealed product is good for the TCG and especially for the actual player base? And if you think so, how? So I let's see. I think that the the TCG side you kind of have to separate, right? I'll say that I like the idea of people who don't need the money holding certain products. I think it's fine. I feel much better about serious investors looking at this space and holding product compared to a lot of people coming in and scalping it because that's going to make the market way more volatile. In terms of how this affects the player base, for sure, like if there's less product out there, it's definitely probably going to be a little bit more expensive for players to get certain cards and stuff. But at the same time, I don't think that Bandai makes as much money off of their player base than a lot of people think. So to expand on that, once people get the cards they need and they're just a player, right? They don't care about collecting, they're not really opening more product. Okay? So in order for there to be more cards on the market and make the meta cards cheaper, you have to have collectors anyways opening the product for there to be those extra copies. So if there isn't that collector base anyways, I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference to the price if people are holding the product sealed or if no one's holding the product but no one's opening it, if that makes sense. So, like sure, it definitely makes it more expensive, I'd say, but the degree that it makes it more expensive I think is highly overestimated, if that makes sense. That was kind of long-winded, but hopefully we get the point across. And maybe that's an L take. Who knows? Like maybe I'll change my mind in a few months. Question: do you think OP16 will be the global release box sets? And if it is, would potentially be a banger set to celebrate? The global, I'm not, is it going to be OP16? I think some people said that, right? It's either going to be OP16 or 17, you'd imagine, or maybe PRBO3, but um, a banger set to celebrate. I don't really know if they're going to sell it like in terms of like put a bunch of impressive cards inside just because they're doing simultaneous release, if that's what you mean by celebrate. um if you mean by celebrate like something to invest in, I would want to wait until we know what cards are going to be inside. So we'll see. I want to wait to see what cards are in there to give my honest opinion. Okay, we're just gonna, bro, you seems, how do you keep putting this in here, man? You'd think that like once was enough, but You keep going. Crazy. Uh, where are good places to buy booster boxes? Recommended good websites or places. So it depends on where you live. In Canada, I think Hobbiesville's great. Cardboard Hero I bought from before. HPW generally has really good pricing as well. And they're out of Alberta. So it really just depends on where you live. If you're in the States, Double Infinity Gaming I think's been fairly decent. I don't know if they have much stock in right now. If you're in Europe, Card Market, I'm sure there's lots of like local stores that have their own online platforms that are decent places to buy from. Whether TCG is worth looking into. Right now, I don't really think there's too much worth looking into. I know some people say Riftbound, but for me, like Pokemon and One Piece are far ahead of anything else. And that's why I'm sticking with those at this point. Question, is it worth buying? Again, you keep spamming that. We did answer that, by the way. If you didn't check it, go back like 20 minutes maybe at this point. What do we think of the OP13 tints coming out? Stay away from ancillary products. Am I behind on chat? I feel like I've read a lot of these before. Question, did you watch what Rudy from Alpha Investments said about OP14? The waves and the amount has been allocated and potentially the printed for OP14 is done and dusted. Look, take what Rudy says with a grain of salt. Like, if he's saying that something is scarce or he's not going to get a lot of it, like just know that whatever he's saying in his own best interests. So I don't really watch Rudy as a source of like understanding what's going on in the market. And if you do, like I would almost flip everything he says, or at least be very suspicious of everything he brings up. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll come true. We'll see for sure. Sir, have you considered holding a position in the Asia exclusive treasure chest? I haven't. I have not. But maybe it'll be a good buy. All right, Nikki Scout. This will be last portfolio we look at, I think. And then I'll take a few more questions and then we'll get out of here because we're going fairly late at this point. Let's do this. Nick, you have another very large position here. It's all the big ballers wanting to flex, guys. Come on. Okay, 203 cards, 200 sealed products. I'm just going to look at sealed products. You don't want my opinion on cards anyways. White bottom case, great. OPO 5 case, okay. Team up booster box, very nice. Some 151. This is a blue bottom booster box, okay, not bad. PRBO 1 case, 4 cases of 13, 2 cases of 9. In terms of One Piece, I mean, you're already off to a great start. You've covered all the top sets. That seems like a no-brainer. 1 case of 11. Not terrible either. PRBO2, you have a couple cases. I think if you're going to have a couple cases of PRBO2, maybe match that in 11. OP12, you have a case as well. Evolving Skies, 3 boxes. Celestial Storm. Like, yeah, you have really great products. The Magic stuff I can't speak to. I really don't know too much about Magic. 10 collector boxes of Final Fantasy is impressive, though. Some loose boxes as well. A 5, EBO1, great. Little bit of Sword and Shield in there. Okay, 14 loose boxes of 09. Maybe there's some more One Piece down here that I'm missing. No, looks like that's mainly it. But yeah, you have great positions, man. Amazing. You have a little bit of all the good sets, and I think that's really important when it comes to One Piece. And then even the Pokemon stuff is like, Crown Zenith booster bundles. EBO2 boxes we didn't even talk about you had in there. How many of those did you have? One case, not bad. Yeah, you have a little bit of everything good, I think. Let's see. Guys, it's 3:22. I'm going to go for 8 more minutes. We're going to cut it off at 3:30. So if I don't set a hard cutoff, I'm going to be here all day. Let's see. Try and get through a few more questions here. Question, what's your streaming schedule now? I haven't set one yet, but I'm hoping like once a week we can hop on here. I'm not sure exactly what day. We might bump it up in the future. We'll see. There's lots of people I'd love to interview as well, like lots of connections I've made this year that I think could provide more value than I could in certain aspects, and I'd love to have them on. And if I could do that, it'd be great. Also, if I find the right fit, having a co-host and doing like a weekly thing, like Eli and Alex, they do their thing on Pokemart every Monday. Like that's great. I would love to do that for the One Piece channel eventually, and maybe even the Pokemon one. We'll see, but yeah, I think once a week is going to be a good goal for now. Love you, bro. Thanks for the content, San. Appreciate you being here, man. That means a lot. Pokedabbin, well said, bro. W take. I don't know which one that's referring to. I don't even know if you're referring to me, but appreciate you being here as well. What's your cultural background? Always thought you were Asian before seeing you appear in your video. I am my my grandparents on my dad's side are both Italian. They were born in Calabria, and then my mom's family originally they are from France, and maybe like there's some Scottish or Irish roots there, but yeah, 50% Italian. Then I say the other 50% is French, but it's probably split like 40% France, and there's some Irish background there. Big investor here, been buying OP cases to hold since October 2024, currently holding about 10 cases of each set except blue bottom. Yeah, Dappin, you have fire positions for sure. You've been in the game a while. That's great. You have distro too, right? I'm pretty sure, that's big. Um, OP13 best investment, you think? Yeah. In terms of booster boxes, I think it's gonna have one of the highest ROIs over the next 5 years. Kind of hard to argue against that. Question: Are the devil fruit sets worth this? We did cover this. I try and stay away from all ancillary products. Question: Do you think Gundam TCG will be big? I don't think it's going to be anywhere near One Piece. That is just my initial thoughts. But at the same time, I haven't done as much research into Gundam as I have for One Piece. So who knows? Like maybe the game and the IP is a lot larger than I perceive it to be. So just on face value, I would say no, but understand that that's a very uneducated opinion. Jason, have a good holiday, man. To you as well. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I'm see. I think we'll probably end up doing business at some point in the future as well. You'll see me reach out on Facebook. My name's fairly recognizable. Thanks, Grayson. Scary Cheese. Appreciate you being here. Supporting the stream means a lot. Hopefully, we will see you around. Let's see what else we got here. Any more questions before we close this? Should I grade my Gum Gum Giant SP that I pulled? First of all, sick pull. Oh, sure. Why not? I mean, raw, it's what? $600, and we just saw BGS 9.5 go for 1,000. So it makes sense still to get a lot of your stuff graded, I feel, if you're planning to sell it. Now, if you're planning to just keep it in your collection, do what makes you the happiest. Thoughts on OPO1 Zoro alt art? Are you talking about the leader? Because I think there's also the Zoro alt in Romance Dawn. Um, I believe there's an alt art in Romance Dawn, right, of Zoro? I'm a big fan of Zoro, and I like his cards. The alt leader in particular, yeah, it's cool. Do I think it's undervalued? I don't know. I don't know. Tough to say at this point. Appreciate the stream, Gump. Appreciate you being here again, man. You've been very active in the Discord too, which is great. Always nice when there are people in there chatting, shooting the shit. It's fun. Been enjoying the content. Left a like. Appreciate you, Josh. Means a lot. And I think we're caught up at this point, guys. I'm pretty sure I went through all the chats. Didn't miss any super chats. We went over those. That's good. One more comment came in here. What do you think about the card Laboon top 64? We've seen that show up a couple times in the eBay videos. I mean, it's Laboon, right? It's not a Nami or a Zeus or a not a Zeus, a Nami or a Luffy or a Zoro or something, but It's a championship card. There's not going to be as many out there. Probably wouldn't be the one I buy, but hey, it's a cool card, I guess. Thank you for the stream. Cheers from France. Baguette. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully we'll see you back here soon. Sure, it's getting late in France, right? It's got to be midnight, 12:30, something like that. Question, is it worth buying? My friend wants to sell it to me for 700 USD. What are you... Sonny, what card is this in reference to? Oh, the Zoro alt, I imagine. The alt leader? 700 USD. Is it that expensive now? Or an alt art in a 10? 700 ungraded for the alt leader seems expensive. Oh, PSA 10, sorry, I can't read. 700 and a 10 seems maybe cheap? I would have to go look. Like I can't remember what the last sale was on that. We'll take PokeDab and Super Chat here. What's up, man? Let's connect about a co-host stream sometime. I think it'd be a blast and would have solid value to put out to folks coming from my side. Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be good. Shoot me a message on Instagram or something. You know, it's something that I will say, like it's not gonna be something I jump into. Like I want to really make sure if I do end up doing a co-host thing, it works out well. Like schedules aligned, just views, like vibe on screen would be good. But in terms of like interviewing people too, that would be something I'm more open to for sure. 12:30, yeah. Yeah, it's getting late in France, especially if you have to work tomorrow and stuff. I get it. It's getting up there. Let's see. Where do you think the Altar Gear 5 Luffy from OPO5 is going in value over the next 12 months? I don't know. It's tough to tell with a lot of these cards. Like, if One Piece keeps growing, they could continue rising, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of cards end up having some level of correction over the next, let's say, 8 to 10 months. I'll ask more in the Discord channel. Yeah, and you know what? If you ask in the Discord, like Jollibee's in there, a couple other guys that know a lot more about each individual card, they might even be better people to ask than asking me. You know, if you're asking a sealed question, I can try and help out more, but for them or for singles, they might be the better people to go with. Alrighty, let's see. Let's take this final one. Currently doing a deal for a Black Label Roger. Do you believe that Black Labels should still hold a 2 to 3x premium from non-Black Labels? Or is it more 3 to 4x from previous eBay sales? I'm assuming this is in English, by the way, as well. I'm just going to assume that. I think that I really don't know exactly what it should be, but I do believe that we're seeing Black Labels go for varying premiums at this point, right? Like sometimes it's 2x, sometimes it's 3, but I was thinking of that the Luffy that sold the OP11 silver Luffy that went for like 24K, and I think in a 10 that's what, 4? So we're talking about like a 6x premium from the PSA 10. So I think it depends on the card. There's someone I really want to interview on the channel, and I think they've watched like way back in the day. I don't know if they still watch. He owns, I believe, 13 of the Black Label Gold Rogers. So with so many of them off the market now, I think that those premiums could potentially get higher in the future just because there's not going to be as many out there. Like I think, is it 52? 52 total Black Labels for the English Roger? It might be more than that now, but I don't think it's much more. And he holds like a quarter of them, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, like, let's see. Someone wrote in the chat, there's currently only a pop 67. Okay, 67 Black Labels. Yeah, so, you know, the more that come off the market, like, we might see that premium go up. We'll see. We'll see. That'd be an amazing purchase, though, if you go through with that. If you do, let me know in the Discord. Shoot me a message or something. It's in the description of the stream. Yeah, if you want to join the Discord, it's linked down below. And again, I'm going to shill everything at the end of this. If you guys want lifetime access to the spreadsheet, you can use the code Christmas55. Or no, Christmas, sorry. and you get 55% off. And I'll run that through Boxing Day, I think, until like 11:59 p.m. Whatever. Links to everything else important in there. And I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a blast. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to have a more structured approach to these on a specific day. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing more of these in the future. Hope you guys have a great holiday. And because I don't think I'll live stream before Christmas, but Merry Christmas. Have fun. Spend time with your loved ones. That's all super important. And we'll be back soon. Catch you guys later.